work. You're still better than the person sitting in the home with these such a wonderful and beautiful line. Here I wish you one pleasant good evening to one of our present over here. Here this is me, your friend on the fountain from class 10th on the behalf of Advanced Schooling Center. And today I want to discuss about a very important topic of class 10th. That is nutrition. So friends, do you know what do we mean by nutrition? Behind me, you're just looking the type of nutrition. But before discussing about it, let's discuss about what do we mean by nutrition. Some people just end its definition by saying the consumption of food. But no friends, the consumption of food as well as the utilization of food by our body is called nutrition. The nutrition is a process of eating the food, absorbing the nutrition and then removing the waste in our body as a human being. And if we discuss about all the organisms, then we can say that nutrition is the process of consuming the food and utilizing it. Here you are looking at the type of nutrition. There are two types of nutrition. Firstly, we are going to talk about the autotrophic nutrition. Now what do we mean by autotrophic nutrition? When an organism prepares food by their own self, by using water, sunlight, chemical energies and many more things, then it is called the autotrophic nutrition. Like you can have the example of green plants. They are doing photosynthesis and making their own food. As well as you can have many more examples who is preparing their own food. But not all plants prepare their own food. Do you know why am I saying this? Because the Cuscuta is the only exception in the plant who feeds on heterotrophic nutrition instead of autotrophic nutrition. Now let's move to heterotrophic nutrition. What do we mean by heterotrophic nutrition? The nutrition that you are following is the heterotrophic nutrition. Why? Because we are taking our food from the another organism. So the type of organism who feeds upon the another organism is known as heterotrophs and following heterotrophic nutrition. Now you are looking at two types of autotrophic nutrition. First is photosynthetic nutrition and second is chemosynthetic nutrition. In the photosynthetic nutrition, an organism prepares its food by using the sunlight, the carbon dioxide, water and chlorophyll that are present in our atmosphere as well as in the plant body. So the type of nutrition that is following by the plants is known as the photosynthetic nutrition, as well as it is also being followed by the algae and many more things. Next is chemosynthetic nutrition. What do we mean by chemosynthetic nutrition? When an organism prepares food by using the energy released by the chemical reaction, it is called the chemosynthetic autotrophic nutrition, and it is also being followed by many organisms. Now let's move to the holozoic nutrition. Friends, this is the type of nutrition that we are following. Do you know why? Because we are the kind of organism who eats a solid or a liquid substance, then we consume it, then we just absorb the nutrition and remove the waste. This is the type of holozoic nutrition in which our organism takes the food and then it does its nutrition by it only, and we call it holozoic nutrition. Next is saprophytic nutrition. It is a very important type of nutrition. Why? Because in this, an organism feeds on the dead and decaying organic matter. Like you can have the example of sulfobacteria that is following such kinds of nutrition. And next we are having the parasitic nutrition. Do you know what do we mean by parasitic nutrition? And before only friends, in my speech I told you about Cuscuta. How many of you remember about the Cuscuta? A plant. I told you that there is only one exception in the all species of plants, that the Cuscuta is the only plant that is following the heterotrophic nutrition. So the Cuscuta is a kind of plant that is following the parasitic nutrition. Do you know why? Because it feeds upon the another organism. So in the type of nutrition in which an organism feeds upon the another organism, that is known as host, and takes this nutrition from that particular organism, is known as parasitic nutrition. So now let's move to the holozoic nutrition. So friends, as I told you about all types of nutrition, now we are going to talk about the holozoic nutrition that we are following. So the holozoic nutrition includes 5 steps. First is ingestion. Do you know what do we mean by ingestion? Just think about yourself. What first step do you do before nutrition? Taking the food. So the first step is the taking the food that is done by a human organism, and you are following the holozoic nutrition. So ingestion means taking the food. Next is digestion. The digestion is the kind of process in which we break down food into the simpler substance. And how do we do that? By our mouth and by our teeth. Next comes absorption. Friends, do you know that whenever we take the food, it's goes inside of your stomach, and then you absorb nutrients from that food, and then you mix that nutrition into the blood, and this is called absorption. Then that particular blood carries the nutrition to the all parts of your body, and then it distributes the nutrition to the all parts of your body. This process is called assimilation. And next is digestion. What do we mean by digestion? Digestion is the thing, is removal of that particular waste. Like we remove the waste, all the waste that we obtain from our food. So that is known as digestion. Now, we are going to discuss about a very important type of holozoic nutrition. And you may think, and you may say that we are going to discuss about ourselves only, because we are going to discuss about the digestion in the human being. So from where the digestion starts in your body? Like from the, especially and importantly, mouth. So here the mechanical digestion takes place in our mouth. How? Because we break down our food from our teeth into the simpler substance, and this is called mechanical digestion. Then in our mouth we are having this saliva. Firstly, not saliva, we are having salivary gland that secretes saliva. The saliva contains a very important thing, that is salivary amylase. Salivary amylase break down starch into the sugar, and saliva is also important because it provides a simply nature in our digestive system that helps our food to reach till our stomach very easily through our esophagus without damaging our esophagus. That's why we are able to eat any hard food also very easily due to this saliva that is present in our mouth. So what are the functions of our mouth? The functions of our mouth is presenting the mechanical digestion by breaking down the food. Then it helps in the tasting of food, swallowing of food, and also mixing the food with the saliva, giving the shapely nature to our digestive system. Then we reach to this a very big part that is known as esophagus. What is esophagus? A very long pipe that connects our mouth to our stomach, and that is important. There is no digestion that takes place in the esophagus. It is only important for transporting the food till our stomach and our liver. So this is the role of esophagus, and by that the movement by which it does it is known as peristalsis. Peristalsis is the wave-like movement done by our esophagus to push down our food into our stomach. Then we reach to our stomach. Why stomach is important? Friends, in our body, the food remains in stomach for 3 to 4 hours. It stores the food for a very long time. In our stomach, we are having gastric glands that release gastric acids, and these acids are very important. The first acid that we are having is known as HCl, the hydrochloric acid. Why the hydrochloric acid is important? It is important for killing the germs, and also it provides the acidic medium to our stomach. And next we are having the next acid that is known as pepsin. Why our pepsin is important? Because it helps in the digestion of protein. So the digestion of protein starts in our stomach only. And then we are having the mucus. Do you know what is mucus? Friends, as I told you that stomach contains a hydrochloric acid. As it is an acid can be harmful for our stomach. So for protecting the lining of our stomach, we are having mucus that helps to protect the lining of our stomach from the hydrochloric acid. Next we are having our liver. Liver is the largest gland of our body, and it stores the bile juice. Now, do you know what do we mean by bile juice and why it is important? Bile juice is important for the emulsification of fat. Now, what do we mean by emulsification of fat? Emulsification of fat means breaking the fat into the small droplets, and in this our bile juice helps. And in our liver we are having, it is also important because it stores protein and glycerol. And do you know where do the bile juice is being stored? The bile juice is being secreted in our liver, but it is being stored in our gallbladder, the small part you are looking here. Here the bile juice is stored. And what the role of gallbladder? The role of gallbladder is only to store the bile juice and then transport and provide the bile juice to the small intestine whenever it is needed. Next we are having our pancreas. Friends, pancreas is also as important as the stomach. Why? Because in the stomach we saw there were 3 acids. Like that also the pancreatic juice is also having such kinds of things. What are these 3? First is trypsin. The trypsin work is as same as the pepsin. It helps in the digestion of protein. Then we are having lipids. Now why lipid is important? Because it helps in the digestion of fat. And then we are having the most important amylase, and that is also known as pancreatic amylase. The pancreatic amylase is important because it helps in the digestion of carbohydrates. So we have discussed about our liver, gallbladder, stomach and pancreas. Now the most important thing comes here, that is small intestine. Because our whole nutrition and whole digestion is done in the small intestine. Now what does the small intestine do? It receives the bile juice from the gallbladder and the pancreatic juices from the pancreas, and then the whole digestion of protein, fat, carbohydrate is done here. It breaks down protein into amino acid, it breaks down fat into fatty acid and glycerol, and it breaks down carbohydrate into glucose. And do you know why the people say that rich blood supply is very important for the growth? Because when you're having rich blood supply in your body, so the small intestine can provide the nutrition in your blood. It can mix the nutrition in your blood, and the rich blood supply helps to provide the nutrition to the all parts of your body. And next we are having the last, not the least, but the large intestine. The large intestine is important for absorbing the water and salt from the food, and it also stores the digested and the waste of our food for some time. Next we are having our next part, that is anus. One part is missing here, that is rectum. The rectum is important, why? Because it stores our digested food for some time, and then the anus is important for the removal of waste. So friends, today as I told you about the whole digestive system, that how the digestion takes place in your body, we discussed about the acids, we discussed about the glands, we discussed about everything. And I hope it would be clear to you that what do we mean by nutrition, how it is being done, the type of nutrition and digestion in human being. Next, I will once again come and we will talk about some very important hormones of nutrition by amoeba and many more things. So, be ready, keep watching this channel. So, these all was for today. Thank you and have a nice day.